Love Beyond the 14th with DJ Grateful.
Bro, she's so hot.
On Grateful Radio. All right, what's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another podcast episode of Love Beyond the 14th with your radio host, DJ Grateful. I'm out here in the building. How's everybody doing? Everybody good?
Doing good. We're doing good. We're doing good.
Glad to hear that. Hey, I'm all good. I'm happy because I'm excited to get a chance to talk to what I consider my favorite married couple. You know what I'm saying? In the world. You know what I'm saying? So in the world. Fair enough.
Just church, man. He got the
No,
world.
in the world.
Y'all heard it here.
We got
You know what I'm
some
saying? favorite couple in the world. You know, get a chance to have a conversation because y'all are inspiration to me for real. Both of y'all are real inspiration.
Thank you.
And just kind of hearing y'all stories. So I kind of want to do it just a short episode, probably not too long because I know y'all got stuff to do. But let's kind of start with this, right? So how long? I'm gonna get straight to it. So how long did it take you to realize that you was in love with your wife?
In love or that she was my wife?
In love with your wife.
So when she was my girlfriend, how long did it take to figure out when I was in love with her?
Yeah.
I think it was when my car broke down.
Oh.
Remember that? So we had just went and seen a movie. Do you know the movie? Do you remember that?
I don't remember a movie we
'Cause I
saw.
don't.
No, I don't remember.
It was in the daytime.
Yeah, it was a matinee we
It
went
was a
and saw.
matinee,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't know how.
Yeah,
Right?
well, it's cheaper when you
You
go
wanna
to
say
the
something?
movies in the middle of the day.
That part.
When you have a date in the middle of the day.
It's way
Yeah,
cheaper.
we both weren't we were employed, but we didn't have.
Work that day.
Yeah, neither one of us had work that day, and we were working minimum wage jobs.
Yeah, so the car broke down and like a few miles, like maybe two.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
Yeah, it was like 2 miles away from my parents. I was staying with my parents at the time. And it broke down, and she was like, I'm willing to, walk with you anywhere, go with you anywhere. And it was just like, wow, I love this woman. That's when I knew. Want to go to mommy? Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
So the car broke down, and she said she was willing to walk with you anywhere, right? So how long was that? How long was y'all together at that time before you kind of realized that moment?
Yeah, no, it hadn't hit a year because
Yeah,
that's when we
wasn't a
got
year yet.
engaged.
Yeah.
It was like maybe half a year.
Maybe 6 months.
Maybe half a year. Maybe half a year.
About
Yeah.
6 months.
Maybe
6
6
months.
months, yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
How long for you?
It took me a bit longer
Yep.
to realize I was in love with him. I knew that he was a good guy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the exact moment because I knew how do I put it. I'm trying to remember. I knew when I wanted to tell him.
Yeah.
I can't actually pinpoint the exact moment where I was just like, oh, because I'll tell you the short story. I was actually at my grandmother's house. And she may not even remember this, but I was at my grandmother's house, and I was talking about how much I enjoyed hanging out with him.
Yeah.
And now that I think about it, I think I was taking every little opportunity to talk about Andrew. So if my grandma could be saying, oh, we're gonna go get Pop-Tarts from the grocery store, I'm like, oh, well, Andrew's favorite Pop-Tarts is brown sugar. Just anything to talk about him.
Yeah.
And my grandmother looked at me, and she's like, you make me wonder if you're in love with this boy. And I was like, I ain't gonna go deep and say I'm in love with him or nothing like that, but I like him a whole lot.
It was deep like.
Yeah, it was a real deep like, but she had really caused me to start thinking about it.
Yeah.
There wasn't a day that went by that we didn't talk. There was some form of communication.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people didn't know, that we actually lived an hour away from each other.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
remember that part. That's new.
yeah, so we lived an hour away from each other, and there was always, and both of us were always looking for an opportunity to try to hang out with each other. But I think when she talked about it, I think that's when because I had never been in love. He was actually my first boyfriend. So there was, I don't think there was an exact moment, but I think there was a realization that happened. There was just like, oh, is this what feeling in love is like? And it's like, oh, okay. But I told him that I loved him over the phone. I didn't tell him in person.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a particular reason why you weren't brave enough to say it in person?
Probably because of rejection.
Oh,
Probably because of rejection. And I know I'm an emotional person, especially back then.
Yeah.
and I would have a tendency to say things in a way that I didn't actually mean. Yeah. So I didn't want to feel like pressure. Like if I looked at his face and he had made like a face, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm just kidding," you know. I didn't want to. So like he was actually we would there would be times when we would be on the phone for no reason, and we're both still like going about our day. We're just on the phone, so I could hear him talking to his cousin or his mom or dad or something like that. And I was just sitting on the phone.
You can hear him breathing.
Yeah, so I was just like, okay, muster it up. Okay, go ahead and say it. And it's like, I love you. and I heard him like pause. He said, "Did you just say you love me?" And I was like, yeah. She's like, okay.
I don't know. I can't remember what. I kind of remember that, but I think I had said I love you.
You too. You said y'all love you too.
No, I'm saying I think I was saying I love you before you said it.
No, you did say it before.
I think I respond with I love you. I might have jokingly said okay just to mess with her, but I think I said I love you too back to her.
You did after you tortured me for about 30 seconds.
I think that I forgot about that part. I just remember us being on the phone when she first said it.
Yeah, we were on the phone.
That's funny because I used to have a homeboy in my past, a little savage. A woman might be like, she'd be like, "Yeah, I love you." He'd be like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "That's so wrong."
No. Like it really mean it though.
It really mean it though.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't like that. Thank God.
I like the joke.
Thank
I like
God. No, but you wouldn't have played with me like that though. Not about that.
Not that far.
Yeah.
Because I did say
much.
okay.
Yeah. And I was super. I've mellowed out, but I was super sensitive, especially back then. So he probably would have played with me. I'd been like, "Man, I was just joking."
So, how long y'all been married again?
This year will be 7 years, but we've been married 6.
So 6 years married, we've been together for 7. So that first year of marriage, in your experience with that first year of marriage for you, what was that like for you?
Major transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was. I'm not gonna. I mean, I think it's true for a lot of people. It's you go into this idea that it's gonna be like roses and beauty, and it's like, oh, y'all gonna be in love all the time, and it's just. That first year of marriage was hard because a lot of transition. Sorry, this is our son.
Levi, I want to be on the mic.
It was a lot of, and I think he can attest to this too. It was, I graduated with my AA degree. He just graduated from basic training. Within a few months, we moved. We got married. And then we got married in December. Got an apartment. Moved in May, and it was just like it really felt like within a day, like both of our lives had like instantly changed. Because I mean, he was accustomed to being on his own. I wasn't accustomed to that, so we went to like live into an apartment. Like I had to learn how to pay bills. Like I had to live with my parents up until I was 23, and the only bill I was responsible for was my car and my cell phone. And that was it. So it was a major transition. And then like now when I go out. It's like, oh, are you okay if I like go and hang out? Like not like go out and hang out with him because we didn't know anyone, but it was just like, oh, I'm a person who enjoys like going to restaurants. It was like, oh, let's go to Applebee's. Oh, I want to stay home. Like what? So it was this transition of trying to get to know each other. Trying to get acclimated to the military because he's active duty, trying to get acclimated to being married, and then me trying to get acclimated to being on my own. Because like now I'm in a new state, no job, no church home, no nothing. So he's out trying to figure out what military life looks like. I'm trying to get acclimated to what a military wife looks like, what it means to be out on your own, and he said one day he told me, "Oh, can you go get me vision insurance?" I'm like, I ain't never done that, but I did it. It took.
Figured it out.
I had to. So it was this major transition, and with that comes, arguments and bumps and bruises, and
What about you, man? What's your experience in that first year?
Like similar to what she said is, transition. We went from both of us. For the most part, most of our life, living around all our family to no family. Like I had a stint where I went to Tennessee for about a year, I think it was. So that's what she means when she says that I lived on my own, but not really. And then that's one thing, but to live on your own, to live in take care of someone. You know, I never had to take care of no one. I never had to take care of a wife, so I didn't know what that was like. So it was a lot of transitioning. Like she said, I'm in the military, so had to learn what it means to be in the military.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, and that's pretty much it. Just transition, I would say.
Okay.
You know, like
a lot
anything,
of changes at once.
anything that is transition, you have a lot of highs and lows in that, because it's like you have your good days where like, oh, I killed today. I, you know, made sure, like, for example, for her, you know, I cleaned up the house, you know, cooked some food for when my husband came home, and you know, we had a good day. And then you have like lows from my end of it, like, dang, I gotta stay late and get this task done that you know, my sergeant want me to get done. And it's like she's home by herself, and like you said, no friends, no family.
In a new state.
New state. You know, like she said, she was real emotional back then, so that, you know, created a sense of like loneliness and stuff like that. So it's like all those things, you know, the pressure of being the head of a household, like, so yeah. But it, all in all, it was experience, and it was good for where we are now. It helped grow us and groom us and be able to handle things better.
That's good. Yeah. So next question I have for y'all, as far as like dealing with conflict, right? So how long did it take for y'all to really get adjusted with like dealing with conflict with one another in like a healthy way?
It's still going.
Yeah, it's still happening.
Like we both laugh because
we had a conversation last night.
Yesterday.
Literally
about
last night.
You're forever, because so I'm not.
Well, we can talk about what we've learned since year one. So like
what we've learned. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll speak for me.
Yeah. Okay.
He's always been good with conflict.
Okay.
Me, I was, and it's still a lot of ways I still am, but especially back then, I was a major conflict avoider. Like if I even thought an argument was getting ready to brew, it was like, okay, you got it. Like, you know, it's fine. And the Lord graced me to have a husband who cared about my opinion.
That's good.
So when I'd be like, oh no, I can't actually say there was a time where my husband actively ignored my opinion if he knew that I was holding something back. And it took maybe about a little bit of time, but honestly, in his credit, it didn't take him much time to figure that out, that I was like, no, he's like, no, I want to hear your opinion. Yeah. And it took, I mean, it's still taking like years for me to be, I'm a little bit more bold with it now. Like, hey, I have something to say. Yeah. But there were more times where it was just, no, I don't have an opinion. No, yes, you do. No, I don't have an opinion. So, how we deal with conflict, I would say now, I trust him with my emotions. At the beginning, I didn't trust him with my emotions, but now I do. But at the time, I had to build that trust with him, that if I gave you my emotions, that I know that you would be responsible with it. And he proved quickly that he could be responsible with those things. So it took, I would say, we've been married 6 years. Yeah. I would say it took me a solid maybe 4 to get to a full place of confidence that I could go to him. Yeah. And even when I get nervous, I'll ask him, I'm like, hey, can I talk to you about something that's heavy on my heart? Because I also want to, because I'm a person who carries heavy emotions. Yeah. So it matters how he feels too. So, and that's something that I'm currently learning right now. Yeah. So if he's had a tough day, or, you know, he's like, right now he's in school. So if he's been up at 4 a.m. for PT, you know, he's picked up the baby, he's cooked dinner, because I get home late now. He's cooked dinner. I try to be mindful of those things, and be like, hey, can I talk to you? And he'll give me, and I've learned to respect his, well, can we talk tomorrow? Or give me until about this time so we can talk. So it's been a process.
That's good, because to me it sounds like you're taking that extra step that some women don't take. It's actively trying to honor your husband.
And it took me time. Yeah. Because as soon as he would walk through the door, hey, I got something to tell you, and it just be like, for him, it's sensory overload. Because, like I said, I'm a person who has heavy emotions, and depending on how I feel, I need to talk to you right now. Yeah. But what I had to learn is that my husband, he's in a lot of ways, he's not an extreme introvert, but he deals with a lot of the stuff that he's dealing with internally. So he may have dealt with something at work, or maybe something happen on the way home or whatever.
Yeah.
And it takes him time to process that.
Right.
So not that he doesn't love me or not that he doesn't care, is that when I come and bombard him with something else, it doesn't allow the first thing that happened for him to process. So now he's no good to talk about whatever the next thing is. So what I've learned is when he comes home, we do our greeting. Hey, how was your day? My day was good. Now, if he goes into detail, I know that he's ready, to talk.
Gotcha.
But if it's like, yeah, my day was good. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll give him his space. And if I'm not sure, then it's like, hey, can we talk or do you need space? Babe, I need space right now because he needs time to himself to thrive. And if I love him, then I want him to thrive. Then I need to put myself aside so I can let him, process whatever he needs to process.
Good. That's mentoring. That's mentoring to me right now.
It took time.
Yeah.
It took that wasn't done within a month.
Yeah.
Time.
But you learned it, and once you got it, you got it.
Yeah, and I'm still learning it. Truthfully,
Yeah.
Sometimes he has to stop me. Like, hey, I need
a minute.
a minute, and it's not always like, oh, babe, okay,
Yeah.
you need a minute. It's not always like that.
But I'm
Yeah, it's not.
Sure.
It's not always
I got
like
you.
that.
I got you.
But I'm learning.
That's
I'm learning.
good.
Yeah.
Drew?
Repeat the question again, just to make sure.
How we deal with conflict.
Dealing with
Yeah.
conflict.
Well, first they kind of talk about say something quickly about what she was saying. How she said that I still need time to deal with whatever I dealt with throughout my day. Kind of goes back to what First Lady said, working on things from a healed place.
Yeah.
Now, what I mean by healed, I'm still going through something throughout my day. I'm still processing. So I haven't gotten past what I'm going through yet. So I'm not 100%, if that's a better way to say it, making sure that I'm 100% there. Because like you said, I'm no good if I'm at 50% and you coming at me and I'm at 50%. I can't even think through your whole situation because I'm not 100% of who I am. So
Yeah.
But me, I think I had to learn how to not, as a man, two things that I've learned. One, they don't always want you to fix the problem. I've learned that.
Yeah.
Genuinely. Well, babe, do this. And at the beginning, she would just take it. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm thinking, I'm killing the game. I'm helping my wife with a problem. But then over time, I could tell, even when I'm telling her stuff, like that was a good idea. Why you
not receiving it?
Yeah, why you not excited or happy about it? Is because sometimes they just want to let it out. Just want to let out the problems, day at work or somebody at Starbucks or whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
They just want to vent to you and you sit there and say, okay, babe, I hear you. But then there's other times where she'll tell me
I need your opinion.
and that's what I told her. You got to let me know because we, as a man, you don't think like a woman. And as a woman, you don't think like a man. So you got to let me know what do you got, and you have to ask. She either has to tell me or I have to ask, what do you need from me? Are you venting or are you looking for a solution? Because then once you tell me you venting, I ain't finna say nothing. I'm not about to say anything. I'm gonna just listen to what you have to say. May repeat something to make sure I understand it or whatever the case, but I'm not gonna give you a solution. If you need a solution, then hey, all right, I can help you with that. So that's one thing. The other thing is learning not to be so domineering, yes, I'm the head of the household. I'm I understand it. I hate saying it sometimes, just the way it comes out, but I do understand it. I have the final say so. But this is my helpmate, right?
Right.
So when we have conflict, I have to open my eyes to realize that God gave me her because she has something that I won't ever be able to see because I was raised different than her and I'm a man. So she has a different perspective on things, on different conflicts that we may have between us or about a situation that she can help me see a different vantage point because I'm only seeing it from this way because this is how I was raised and I'm a man and I think in that vein. So to take that step back and humble myself and be like, okay, what I don't understand it, but my wife said, try it this way. All right, I'm going to take a step back and allow her to help guide me in this situation, in this conflict. She know like the last couple of days I've been saying it. Like I say it jokingly, but I seriously mean it. It's like, all right, I'm gonna listen to what my wife says. She want me to do this. I'm gonna listen to what my wife say, and I do it. But I'm serious because it's like throughout so many years, it's just like, like one thing we say because she never lived on. Man, she don't know what to do about bills. She don't know what to do about this, that, and the third. But that doesn't mean that God hasn't been pouring in her different things about how to go about taking care of our household or taking care of finances. Just because you don't have experience doesn't mean God can't pour into you about a situation on how to handle it. So I've learned to take a step back and not be so domineering and it's gonna go this way. I'm the head of the household and be like, all right, babe, what you think? Now sometimes it still go my way, but I've been learning to say, all right, babe, you want to do it this way, let's do it this way.
And if we just have to caveat off of that, I had to humble myself and let my husband teach me. So like we said earlier, I came into our marriage, I had never lived on my own. Only bill I ever paid was my cell phone and for my car. Like my parents paid for my car insurance and all that stuff. So I came into our marriage as far as like world-wise, very little to offer, but just like to incorporate Christ in it, the Bible talks about how, how how Jesus, he teaches the church or teaches his bride, all the things that he needs to teach her to do to present her to himself. And I feel like that's what my husband did for me. I had to humble myself and allow him to teach me, even if it was something like bills. Like I didn't, just being real, like I didn't know you needed a first and last month's rent. I didn't know that. I didn't know you had to pay to turn on the lights. You had to pay to turn on the water. So when we first got married, I didn't have a job. He was working. He put me in charge of the bills. That's why I said earlier, like he asked me to get him, vision insurance. I had to call Humana and try to I was on the phone 3 hours trying to figure it out. But after some time, especially within our first year, he trusts me now that even, because finances is just his thing. He prefers to do those things. But when he leaves, like say if he has training or something like that, he can trust me to make sure that our house is taken care of because he taught me and now he can present me to himself. In a sense, I can feel comfortable to go and do whatever I have to do because I know that my wife has it handled. So it took some humbling on my part too. Yeah. And I think that's what you were trying to like get at in a sense when you say you were like teaching me. Because that's really what happened. I had to be taught. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I lived 500 and something miles away from my parents. I couldn't call my mother and she's at work during the day. It's just, I can't call my grandma. I had to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And I had only my husband to depend on, but I was fortunate enough to have a husband that was willing to help me. Like, this is how you do these things. And that way, like I said, when he leaves, he knows that, the house is handled because I got it.
That's good. Mm-hmm. So I got one last question for y'all. Y'all can definitely answer individually. What is your favorite thing about being married?
There's so many things. My deep answer? My deep answer about my favorite thing about being married is that I'm on a constant journey of growth.
Jesus, that's crazy. That is crazy. Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah,
we still got it.
Yeah, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I was about to say, seeing where we come from, like the 1-bedroom apartment, and not only just tangible things, but seeing how far, like, emotionally, financially, the growth, like things that she's pouring into me, and to see it start to finally develop, and vice versa. But that's crazy. I was gonna say growth too.
Because you have to. If you don't grow in a marriage, then your marriage will do one or two things. It'll be stagnant or it'll fail, and especially if the two, because if he's in a state to grow and I'm not, then it's like then what are we doing? Right. And one of the many blessings I think about marriage, that can also feel like a burden, is that if we've had this same argument and we keep arguing about it and it's just this constant problem, but then he finally or I finally decide to do a different approach and it's working. Now, if that other person is still willing to approach the problem the same way, it's just only communicating that you're unwilling to grow. Like if I'm still getting mad at the fact that, you know, you drop, well, I'll use a real example. Like if he still gets upset that, you know, when I unwrap paper, I have a tendency to leave it on the counter, you know, and go about my business. But what my husband will do is, instead of fussing at me now, he'll go right behind me, pick up the paper, throw it away. But what has taught, because it used to be like, I was going to throw it away, because when I started noticing it, I was like, you don't have to do that, I'm going to throw it away. And he's like, well, I'm not upset with you, I'm just going to throw it away. But now it's made me cognizant, like, I don't want him to be feeling like he's picking up after me. If I unwrap something, I'm gonna go ahead and
throw it away.
But it was and that's a small thing, but it forces you to grow. You know, my husband is a reflection of me. I'm a reflection of him. So if he's unhappy in some way, shape, or form, and it has to do with my treatment of him, when people see him, it's gonna be like, oh, like this man is unhappy, because it's part of who he's married to is a reflection of himself. So, and vice versa. So if something is going on, then I need to be, of course, depending on what it is, then I need to be reflect and be like, okay, like, what is it that I'm doing that in this particular area that my husband is not thriving? And the only way you can do that is to have humility. We talked about that last night. To have humility, and then, you know, ask your spouse, like, hey, what is it that I need to change so you can be thriving in this space? Because it's about service. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And then I just want to say one last thing when it comes to growth. Excuse me. Like with growth, you have to understand there's going to be times of being uncomfortable, but you can't mix growth with being stagnant and being stuck in one place. Because when you grow, it's just like in school. When you learn something new, you feel dumb. Like, I don't understand this. Like, when you lift weights, you feel weak. So there's time when you're growing, when you're getting better or getting stronger or growing in something, there's going to be times where it usually starts with a decline. And I'll dare to say it always starts with a decline when there's something new. You're learning, you know, hitting the gym, running, you feel tired, you don't have enough wind, whatever it is. You know, when you cook something, usually for the first time, it doesn't taste as good as it does when you perfect it. So just understanding the difference between like that period of feeling stagnant or like you're going backwards first. Don't get that mixed with being stagnant and being stuck in a place. Realize that usually with growth, you're not in that place of weakness or going backwards long. Because if you keep doing it, then you get stronger. You keep learning something, keep studying something, you're going to eventually get it and understand it. You keep going to the gym, you're going to be able to lift that caddy on both sides. Keep running, your endurance is going to go up. But if you're in a place of being stagnant, you're going to be stuck there as long as you allow yourself. So it's going to be it potentially could be a long time. So just don't confuse the two. Basically what I'm saying is don't beat up your spouse or get mad at your spouse because you feel like, oh, they're stagnant.
I don't know what happened, y'all. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead. I mean, that just means that it's time to go and conclude this particular episode. So I appreciate y'all so much. I don't know what that was, but hopefully it ain't too much of a big gap, you know what I'm saying, within the video. But we got Andrew and Shamiria, and I appreciate them for giving me some insight and helping the brother out. Yeah. I'm just a single man out here, waiting on his bride and waiting on his good thing that I know the Lord's gonna provide. And she's coming.
She's waiting. She's here. She's already in the place. Just give it time. Just give it time.
That's it. Well, I appreciate y'all so much. So this is another episode of A Little Beyond the 14th, and I will see y'all next time. Let's get it.